Great. So thank you for connecting to this webinar. So we have Adrienne and Jean-Baptiste to present to us today their work on the matrix on cash nutrition programs. It's great because we have US, and thanks to Lucy, we are on that Central meeting, and we have US, Spain, and France connected to that meeting with person from technical ops, support function, information system too, so a very broad public. This consultancy began last year, November, I think last year. It's the second step after the Research for Action program, because ACF engaged or committed themselves to try to draft impact pathway between cash and nutrition. So Adrienne began to work on that, and it seems that some data are missing. We only have strong research literature, and we are missing gray one to properly understand that. So the consultancy evolved up to this type of matrix. So they will present now. So Adrienne, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Céline. So for those who don't know me, my name is Adrienne Daudet. I'm a food and nutrition security specialist, and I have more or less 15 years of experience, mainly in the field, but also in HQ with ACF in Paris. I've worked with ACF quite a lot, with all headquarters, with Paris, with London, with New York, and with Madrid. But I've worked also with other big international NGOs and with UN agencies. So I am extremely happy to work on this link between cash projects and undernutrition, because I'm quite passionate with the subject for quite a while. I've written a position paper regarding the link between cash safety net and the role for preventing undernutrition in 2009, quite a long time ago. I've worked on the field on cash project design, also implementation, and also external evaluation in countries as Sierra Leone, Mauritania, Ethiopia, and Burkina Faso. And I've also implemented cash training for Handicap International and Terre des Hommes Lausanne, both for their headquarters teams. So I have asked Jean-Baptiste to join me on this consultancy for his complementary skills. You will understand why within the presentation.
Hi everyone, I'm Jean-Baptiste. I'm an independent consultant in data science. I've been working mostly with big brands of the private sector like IBM, Nestle, Louis Vuitton, etc. But my first job was actually in ACF, both in Paris and New York headquarters, so happy to be back.
So the original objective, as was set by ACF, was following the EARTH study to develop an impact pathway of cash transfer programming on nutrition outcomes. And the way we answered to this question was by developing a tool which permits to access online to ACF field experience to improve future impact pathway. It's really a capitalization tool, and we will explain you why. We will explain you why we took this way to answer the question and how we proceeded. And after a quick demo, we will conclude the next steps. So why? When working on the impact pathway, we came from the EARTH initiative. So from those who are not familiar with it, the aim of the EARTH initiative was to measure the impact of cash on cash programming on undernutrition and its causes, based really on strong publication, all of them with control groups. And this work gave definitely valuable evidence, and in particular, it was again growing consistent. It was clear in the literature that it was growing consistent evidence of positive impact of cash program on various parts of the causal framework of UNICEF that we all know. And so we were beginning by, I was alone at the time, beginning based on this, those first results. But it was quite complicated to base an impact pathway scheme on it, because there are first so many different pathways that are available within the effort approach, and also with complementary literature coming, especially for grey literature, for field literature and field experiences. And on those so many impact pathways, there were a huge amount of variables that had an impact on any given pathway. So all those variables are linked with the project description, with the project context, and with the project impact. For instance, if you go for the project description and the cash amount, we all know that if the cash amount is not enough, is not sufficient according to your specific goal, there is more than likely, and very well documented in the literature, that you will not be able to measure any kind of impact. The type of cash is also extremely important. Like if the cash is conditioned with, for instance, a cash for work, if the cash is restricted with, for instance, let's say a fresh food voucher, it will greatly influence the type of result you can achieve with your project. Regarding the cash context, a lot of variables will be also of utmost importance. If your targeted population is highly food insecure, you know that it will be their priority in terms of expenses will be on food. And if you want to target a specific expense linked with health, for instance, it will be a major constraint. The general environment, in terms of a humanitarian environment, will play a huge role as well. If you want to your cash to give access to a specific health service, for instance, you have to make sure that the health services are available within your environment, and so on. So at the time, I was completely stuck because I had so many variables that I was not able to fit to make fit within one impact pathway. So I've discussed a lot with key person within ICF, also with key stakeholders outside of ICF. And finally, I asked Jean-Baptiste to step in.
And my answer was, is it really one impact pathway for all cash programs? Or can we turn it around and build one for each new project that comes based on those we did in the past that had the same objectives in similar environments? So to do that, obviously the big point is the data. How do we build a database that we will have to maintain up to date all the time? It will be really painful for the teams, and to be honest, really nearly impossible. So I remember clearly when 15 years ago when I was working with ACF, feeling frustrated by the huge amount of knowledge trapped into PDFs and documents when I only knew how to work with clean databases. Well, thing is, the data science evolved a lot since then, and it's not such a problem now to access the information directly into the documents. A good benefit of this is that as we don't have to structure the information in a proper database to fit our objective of the moment, it can be used basically for any given topic we would like to investigate. Now, clearly there is a cost to it. We can't and we won't pretend to be exhaustive nor 100% accurate, but it's basically the same for any recommendation engine. If you think about Netflix or Amazon or YouTube, all these recommendation engines make mistakes when they recommend you content, but they are accurate enough for you to spend far more money and far more time that you should on them. And it's basically what we did, a recommendation engine. So how does it work? Well, we made a mapping of all the cash programs we identify in the No Hunger Forum. And for each new project that comes, we measure its distance with all these programs. And this allows us to keep only the closest one, that are those that we want to share with the user, the teams, so that it can inspire the way they design the new projects. Which leaves us with an obvious question: how do we evaluate this distance? Well, with Adrienne, we chose a short list of 10 obvious key variables. And for each of these variables, we built a rule that is the way we want this particular variable to play a role in the distance. And we gave it as well a weight, that is the importance we want this variable to play in the distance calculation. So if you take the country, for example, the rule we gave is not only the geographical distance, but as well the HDI, as we believe that same project won't have the same outcomes in two close but very different countries as Niger and Morocco, for example. And we gave it an important weight, obviously, because the country is a key factor. Now, how did we calculate the variables? Well, without diving into too many technical details, we established a connection with the No Hunger Forum, and we were able to list all the files that we could find in it. We had about 1,000 of them. And then our algorithm read these files looking for a particular keyword. In this case, the keyword cash. It was a bit tricky, of course, because cash is a very common word in a proposal. So we had to add an additional layer of machine learning that, based on the context of the word cash, the phrase, could make the distinction between a cash program and a program talking about cash. So that way, we were able to filter all the cash programs, and then to build the descriptive variables of these programs. We use basically the same kind of technique. We use shortlist of keywords that we aggregated to construct these variables. And after measuring the distance, we built a first version of an interface that Adrienne will show to you right now. But just before that, obviously, these keywords, the weights, the variables, everything are some things that we'd love to discuss with all the teams to benefit from their experience and have this work the best way possible. And we will have to work as well with the IT teams. And in fact, we already had a meeting with the French IQ IT team, thanks to Nicolas Dennenfeld, who was attending our first presentation. And we went through all the technical details of our methodology, and they seemed happy about it, so good for us.
So I will make a quick demo. So as Jean-Baptiste has already explained, at this stage, there is only 10 variables, and it's only concerning the project for Paris HQ written into English. So let's say I am a First Nation. I am in the middle of nowhere in Sierra Leone.
Adrienne?
Yes. Yes.
We only see your PowerPoint, not the interface.
Okay, there is a problem because. Okay, how is it possible? Because for me,
Adrienne?
Yes.
All right, so you know where you clicked share screen to begin? If you click it again, it should let you change the screen that you see.
Ah, okay.
So you can put it towards your internet browser.
Okay, just Sorry for that. Okay, here we are, share screen. Is it okay now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Jean-Baptiste. So, I am back. Let's say I am a first mission. I am in Sierra Leone. And I've never written any, I've never worked a cash project. And I am in a rural area. And I am a food security and livelihood person. And I want to write a cash for work project. So I go for that. I have proposed with top five similar programs. So all of them are not in Sierra Leone. It's Ethiopia, DR Congo, Afghanistan, and Iraq. Why? Because within the Narendra Forum, in the last years, there was no cash for work implemented within Sierra Leone. So I go for the first one, and I go for the final report because I want to see the lessons learned. And I see here that this cash for work permitted to improve access to clean water, and also in terms of lessons learned that because of the weather, the work part was quicker than supposed at the beginning, and they had to do a 4 months no cost extension, which is definitely something which is classical and which is important to know when you want to write your project. So let's try another one. Let's say I am in Afghanistan and I am deputy country director, and I want to do a project aiming refugee and IDPs, and I want to make something unrestricted and unconditioned. And my problem here is that the local authorities do not allow for unrestricted and unconditioned because they feel that those refugees will make inappropriate expenses. And I will be served with 5 topmost similar programs. So Afghanistan with IDPs and unconditioned cash and restricted cash. Nepal, same IDPs and restricted and unconditioned. Nepal again. Bangladesh, refugees. Bangladesh, refugees. All those projects are definitely with unconditioned and restricted cash. So again, I will go for the donor reports. Which take a bit of time. And I go for the lessons learned again, cash transfer. Here the PDM report tells me that the family, most of the families use it for food and also other activities like shelter construction, which is definitely a good way of spending the money. It was used for augmenting the food supply, for reducing the debts, and restarting their livelihood and addressing their health needs. I think here, again, my case is made. So I will come back to the diaporama. Let me change the share. Okay. So are you, is it okay? You see the PowerPoint again? Jean-Baptiste?
Yep. So before going into the next steps, we'd love your feedback on this. Should we go on with this project? Do you have doubts, questions, or are you as convinced as we are? Nothing? You went away from the PowerPoints.
Yes, I know. I was trying to
Well, I guess we should go on. The first next step, of course, would be to develop from this proof of concept to the real thing, a real operational tool that would imply add variables, of course. The top of mind would be to measure the impact on objectives of the projects, but also add languages, French and Spanish, and HQs, because we only worked on the French HQ projects. And on top of that, we would love to design a more user-friendly interface. And as well, we would need to automatize the process so that the system updates itself every day or every week, depending, to have always the freshest info in the system.
What will be very useful as well is for this tool to be good, to validate it. So here we would have to work with the final users for them to let us know, okay, what are their specific needs, is there any do they have any trouble with the interface, etc. And generalize, like now that the tool is designed and the informatic is finalized, it's apparently extremely easy to apply the tool to another topic, such as let's say vegetable gardening or seeds bank or something within WASH, like baby-friendly latrines. So here, for me, it's something really interesting, as we could really capitalize on very easily on any of our key topics, like automatically. Thank you, guys. So now it's your turn to discuss.
Hello, everyone.
Hi.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. Okay, thanks to you both. So I'm Cyril from Paris HQ, the senior advisor for food security. I have a question. So it's great. Of course, Céline told me about this tool several times, so I already have some understanding about it. The question I have is about the confidence that you have with regard to the 10, I think there are 10 key variables that you have eventually selected. So how confident are you about that those variables are the good ones? And what was the reflection that you have followed up in order to make the selection of these variables?
I can answer that. The thing is, the question was not really are they the good variables, but are they good? We needed this variable in our database, but obviously there are a lot others that we would need and that we will be adding. But these are requisite. Also, the country, the objective, the profile of beneficiaries, the context, the cash type and the restriction, the budget, the duration. All those variables are key for us to shape a project. So, but there are a lot missing as well. Like the if the project did reach his first objectives or not.
Yeah, okay, thank you. I think at one time you had pre-selected about something like 80 or even a bit more than 80 variables, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
How you made this final selection, going from 80 to 10?
At that time, it was the variable that seemed like the first we would like to include, but it's obviously something that we could have done on it other way. The idea of the proof of concept was only to show that it could work. not to make a complete and fully operational tool.
Yeah.
And if I may add something, at this stage also, I remember when we were discussing with Jean-Baptiste, I was like, for this variable, I would love to discuss with somebody who is specialized in the field. Like I was proposing some variables regarding care practices, for instance. Those variables, I am not completely confident with them, and I would love to work together with somebody who is specialized in care practices in order to validate a key variable for them, and not for somebody like me who is not definitely a specialist of the topic.
Yeah, you're right. Well, I don't remember exactly what are the 10 variables, but are you taking into account, as what you've just said, some elements about, for example, if we have the cash with other activities like FSL or mental health or nutrition activities, is it being considered within the 10 variables?
Yes, we took into account the fact that the program was mixed or not. It was 100% a cash program or mixed program.
Okay, okay. So the analysis is it's up at this stage. It does not go into more refined analysis about if it is mixed, what type of other activities it is linked with.
No, not at this stage.
Not at this stage. Okay, okay, fine.
But it's not really complicated to make, also because if you see the variable objective, we know in the objective if the objective was food security and livelihood, and or care practices, and or WASH, and or etc.
Yeah, no, and I think this is, as you was mentioning, proof of concept. It's a trial to see how it's going to be used, how the people are going to be happy using this tool, how it's going to facilitate their work in order to develop some new programming that are more impactful. I think it's great.
Hello.
Any other questions?
Hi, this is Lucy from New York, Knowledge Management Officer. I want to congratulate you on your proof of concept. It's a very exciting matrix and clearly took a lot of work to get here. I had a question about the process for pulling data. You mentioned that you kind of read and did a stream through all of the files on the No Hunger Forum.
Yep.
So from a US HQ kind of point of view, our files have been migrated off of this No Hunger Forum, and we now have our own platform. And as I understand, this separation of No Hunger Forums is continuing to happen for you as well. So how do you envisage being able to pull from different SharePoints? Is that something that you think would be easy to do?
It's a SharePoint as well, right?
Yes, it's also a SharePoint. It's just a different cloud.
We will only have to change the connection, and that's it.
Okay, great, because we have plenty of cache programming knowledge that we would love to contribute to your matrix.
Woohoo!
And also, if I may add, at the time we launched the consultancy, we were not knowing that US will get out of the No Hunger Forum. It's why we try that on No Hunger Forum only at that time.
Yes, so Jean-Baptiste, so with regard to this issue, the fact that SFUS has been migrating to another cloud, so this problem is, as I understood, is quite easy to get solved, or does it mean additional work for you and for Adrienne?
Of course, it is a bit of additional work, but it's nothing impossible, far from it. The first step of our algorithm is to rebuild the architecture of the SharePoint we are connecting with. So it's only, that's it. It's connecting and rebuilding the architecture and scanning for cache programs, and it's really not a problem.
Okay. Okay, so maybe we will see to discuss this issue later on, to see what can we do together with SAFUS, so that we can have a system that both link the different files that we have in our No-Hunger forum with the one of SAFUS.
Yeah.
Okay.
And maybe also to discuss further, but first to test the current work done. So I put you the link of the mini website that Adrien showed us on the chat box. And if we manage to test that, use that a bit, give that to PMs, HOD, mission level, maybe they can give us feedback. So when we ask for the second step, we will have more accurate data to share using it.
Yeah, we are happy to answer any question that that could pop up in the process.
Yeah. Also, maybe one remark with regard to the dissemination of this work is that so we'll have a technical workshop that's going to happen in early July with some. We will have our FSL technical coordinator from both SAFUS, Spain and France. And so that will be also a possibility for us to provide them the information, to maybe to display this presentation so that they can also use it. I think now maybe the challenge will be to have them use this this software, this new initiative, so that they can develop in a better way their project. So this workshop, I think, maybe one possibility is going to happen in France. So maybe we will discuss about this as well.
Sure. Something I would like to add also is that, for what I've understood, the WASH team and the nutrition team are also more and more involved within Cache. And what is good with this tool is that it's scanning all the projects, whatever they were carried on by a FoodSec or a WASH, which means that any kind of Cache project will be within the tool, and not only the one that were implemented by pure FoodSec team.
Any more questions?
Hello, my name is Grace, logistics advisor. I'm just asking, do we have a platform where this information will also be shared with logistics because of implementation?
In what? I'm not sure I understood the question.
See, as you look at it currently, cash transfer, the lead is program, but there are also areas where logistics come to support programs on the in the exercise.
Yeah.
So my question.
It's more a question for Adrien, I think.
Well, the point is that for sure, logistics are extremely important for implementing Cache program. I do know from experience, and this platform is available to anybody. Well, this is ACF to decide who can have access to this platform. But this platform, it's an internet link, and if ACF chose to continue on that and to finalize this, because here it's just a proof of concept, but if we finalize a tool, it will be available to anybody.
Thank you.
One question from me, Matthew from New York. I just wanted to clarify whether the food voucher-based social protection safety nets program will be considered within the frame of this project, within the scope of this project.
Thank you so much for asking this question, because it was quite tricky to put them inside. And yes, definitely they are inside, because we worked on various keywords, and the term voucher was one of the keywords, so they are inside.
Okay. Okay, good.
No more questions?
Yeah, maybe one question. Maybe this is a question for you, Celine. What do you think about, so we've been talking earlier with regard to dissemination to our colleagues that are on the ground in the field, working at country level. But at HQ, we can see, we understand that one of the challenges that we have in our initiative is a dissemination so that the people can use them. They can understand that this is existing, and after they can use it. So I think there will be a lot of work for dissemination if we really want that this good work can be used, can be heard, can be used, and that at the end of the day can be assessed about with regard to its usefulness. So what is the plan, or what would be the good plan, Celine, for you for internal dissemination?
To be honest, good plan, I don't know, but at least we plan to have, thanks to Adrienne and Jean-Baptiste, this presentation during the Learning Week, and it's recording at the moment, so it will be part of the knowledge, this presentation will be part of the UK Knowledge Hub, and we will put the link, this means the link, so all the person here today have access to the link. Feel free again to share if you think it can be useful, or at least to test it a bit and give us feedback. So feel free to share that at your HQ level. We will again work on that with the cash working group and the ICF International project on cash at the moment with the different departments. So we have several focal point per department, per HQ. So it will be a bit like that, but yeah, there are no a broad dissemination plan, again, because it's still work in progress. It's only in English for now, because not translated to French and Spanish. So
yeah, and if I may add to, if I may add to what you are exactly saying, the point is that at this stage, it's a proof of concept. So yeah, well, when I remember being in the field, and there is no time to see all the excellent tools that are sent by the HQs, and perhaps it could be interesting for them to access this tool when it's more finalized, and to keep it at HQ level for the proof of concept stage.
We will share that with some key focal point person from different missions that are already in some other in link with the cash project, so maybe they can test it a bit, because it's good also to have their field experience and what is useful or not, but it won't be spread broadly for now, only broadly at a HQ level.
It would be wonderful.
Yeah, we'll try that, but it's not perfect, but at least today is a second step. And for external meetings, there are one meeting plan, and that will be planned, because we still don't have all the feedback, with the person from Research for Action, the panelist of the Research for Action on cash and nutrition, plus CALP involved in that. So end of April, I think, and So we will have also their feedback, their technical point of view on all that. That's the plan for now.
Yeah, okay. But okay, so I understand this is a proof of concept. I understand that this tool is meant to evolve. It's not, and there won't be a final version even after 6 months, because this is something that is going constantly evolving. With regard also to the number of cash projects that we're going to have, the cash projects that also are going to be implemented in the other sectors, and so on. But actually, I don't think that we should restrict ourselves to use it also in at this stage, and because we do know that okay, maybe it's not perfect, but if it has no bug, if it works, if all the searches can hand it up with results, I think maybe this is worthwhile to disseminate it maybe more broadly than you have expected, so that it is used. Because it's only based on the use that we will be able to refine it.
Could be nice.
We can discuss that further. I think each HQ will have this own dissemination plan mission according to their mission, and sure we can discuss that further for France.
Mm.
Any other question, comments? Okay. So great. Thanks again, Adrien, Jean-Baptiste, to take time for this presentation. It was great, and it's clearer and clearer for me what the work you have done. So it's great. And for everyone, it's recording. You have the link in the chat box. It's recording, so you can spread also the presentation and the link when you want. And if you have any question, feedback, comments on the tool, feel free to share them after that. And Lucy, thanks again for all the links shared, etc. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you to the three of you.
Thank you.
Very
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.